Hello, all of you gamers, professional and casual out there in the world. I am MegaAmpster. If you are new here to this channel, thanks for being here. Great to see new faces here. If you're a returning viewer, always great to see you here. Always great to have you here. We are here with my last top, not 10, but top 5 this time, video for the end of 2022. I figured, you know what, I made my favorite games of this year, or both old and current games, and I figured, you know what, just like last year, top 5 anticipated games for 2023. These are my opinions, obviously, you know, my most anticipation. It's not in general. Obviously, different games will vary based on hype, but these are the 5 games that I am the most hyped for. Now, before we get into it, let's get out some disclaimers, some honorable mentions. I'm including, you know, remasters. I don't think that really applies in this case that I can think of, at least. I guess it kind of does, but like remasters, remakes, stuff like that, especially games that I haven't played before that I'm looking forward to playing in the new year, including those. And yeah, pretty much doesn't really know other disclaimers, just whatever games I'm hyped for. This one's a little more freeform and a little more flexible in terms of what I can do here, but honorable mentions. First of all, Nina the Hollower, I believe that's set for next year in 2023, from Yacht Club Games, the creators of Shovel Knight and all of the spin-off games that they made, well, you know, side Shovel Knight games they made based off of that. Love the games that they made. I still haven't played like Plague of Shadows and King of Cards, but of course Treasure of Hope, the base game, and Spectre Knight was really good. And like this one, I'm not like following super closely, but it looks like it's kind of styled after like Link's Awakening or the Oracle games, like the Legend of Zelda, like Game Boy games, which is a really cool aesthetic. I don't know if we've seen many indie games do that before, at least many higher profile ones. So that is a really cool aesthetic. And like I said, I haven't followed it much. That's why it's not on the top 5, but I might check it out. I'm not fully sold on it when it comes out, supposedly next year. Another one, almost made the top 5, but not quite, is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which is the re-release of Kirby's Return to Dreamland that was originally on Wii, that is coming out in February of 2023. I've never played that game. That's one of the mainline Kirby games I have not checked out yet, and I definitely want to when it comes out, but it's like, you know, it's an older game, especially in a post-Forgotten Land era where we have those 3D games, and those are the really hype things for Kirby to look forward to. I've heard this is a very good game still. It just did not make my top 5 in terms of the most anticipated. And last one, I'm so sorry. I know people are going to be mad at me for this. I did it again. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom did not make my top 5 most anticipated. You know what it is? It's the fact that there's really not a whole lot new we know about. It's going to be in the sky. Of course, at least part of it. There's a flying stone bird. There's a giant door. Link's arm is corrupted. Like, there are some cool ideas here. But the reason, I'm sure it's going to be a really good game when it comes out in May. It's going to come out in May. It's not going to get delayed again. There's no way it can. I mean, it could, but that would be bad. It's just there's not enough information for me to be hyped about it right now. At least that hyped about it. It didn't crack my top 5. It's number 6, but it did not crack my top 5 because of that. It's just, I don't know. It's just we don't know enough about it. I'm sure sooner rather than later, probably in the February Direct if we have one in 2023. We probably will around that time. I'm sure we're going to learn a hell of a lot more about this game. They're going to build up the marketing towards it, and that's when I get excited. That's when we'll have brand new information to be excited for. So as of now, it did not crack my top 5. I am sorry. For those of you, I know at least a couple of you will be disappointed in me, but I don't care. This is my list. Anyways, let's get into the top 5 most anticipated games of mine for 2023. Number 5, there's going to be some repeats on here from last year because of game delays and everything. Number 5 is a repeat. It's in the exact same spot as last year if you watched last year's video. But I'm even a little more excited now after we had a follow-up trailer at the Game Awards, and that game at number 5 is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So this one's tough because I feel like we still haven't gotten like a ton of gameplay for this game, and I believe it's also coming out in May, like Tears of the Kingdom. The Rocksteady name, I'm not gonna lie, that's like a big enough factor to push it forward for me to really want to check it out. And this trailer that we saw at the Game Awards revealed Batman. I mean, we know the whole Justice League is going to be in there, so of course he was going to be there. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. This will be his last performance in a video game ever, so that makes it even more exciting for me. I'm really excited to see where they take this game. Like, I genuinely like the character. Some of the humor is kind of iffy for me, especially the scene here with Captain Boomerang the Flash was kind of like, it was like, whatever, kind of fell flat for me. But I'm curious to see where this goes, especially right now, as of this recording. I am currently playing through Gotham Knights with Jared, friend of the channel here, and like I'm getting more and more into the Batman hype again. And as a result, I'm kind of like, well, you know, this game's not too far off. It's only a few months off, so like I'm excited to kind of jump into this. It's a unique idea to bring the Suicide Squad into a video game format, and also, you know, just because it's Rocksteady, like I said, the name alone. But the gameplay is the main thing that's keeping it at number 5 for me, because it almost looks like a co-op based shooter game. I don't know how to describe it, but Definitely looks interesting. At least all the characters look unique, so that's cool. I'll just be curious to see what happens. And of course, Kevin Conroy's Batman. I'm very much looking forward to hearing his voice one last time. Rest in peace again, like I said. But that is why Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is my number 5 here. Now, number 4 is a game that really just came out of nowhere for me this past year. It was announced during, I believe, Devolver Digital's video presentation, which was really funny. I believe it was during that one. And I've been meaning to get into more indie games, and this one really caught my eye. Like, besides Tunic that came out this past year as well, and I still have to play that, this is a game that just really seems like super, like it caught my attention, and honestly, I might buy it day one, depending on what systems it's on. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but it looks really, really interesting to me. And that is at number 4, a little game called The Plucky Squire. So this game, just like I was watching, you know, just like during the E3 time, just watching through a bunch of different like video presentations. I'm like, whatever, there's really no actual E3. There wasn't actually E3 this year, right? They canceled it, and there was Summer Games Fest and all that. And I was like, okay, I'll watch these different presentations. And this game specifically, I believe the artist or one of the artists, I believe, is originally from Game Freak, if I'm remembering correctly. But just the concept is super cool. This idea, kind of like taking the Mario Odyssey idea of like, you know, the 3D game that you go into like these 2D sections as well in certain areas. But that seems like the whole gimmick with this game. It looks so good in motion. It looks like you can see like the Punch-Out inspiration, that it's really funny. It looks like it has so much personality, but then this moment right here of popping out and like this Link's Awakening DX like on the Switch, that art style in the 3D and then the hand drawn in the 2D, like the combination of that looks amazing. I don't know how long of a game it's going to be, which is why it's only number 4. And we don't know a whole lot about it, but it looks really good. Like I said, this game came out of nowhere for me. I am going to try to pick it up on Xbox or Steam if I can, because I'm sure it'll look a lot better than the Switch version. It's awesome it's coming to Switch, but I bet you it's going to look better on other platforms. But just, like I said, one that came out of nowhere for me. It is number 4 on my list, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this game shapes up. Supposedly it's coming out this year. We don't have a date, I don't think, but supposedly it will come out this year. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed, but we shall see. That is my number 4 for my most anticipated games of 2023. Now, number 3 was also one that kind of came out of nowhere at the end of the year here. Geez, like so many random surprises at the end of the year. This one came out of the Game Awards, surprisingly, and this was from a company we, originally weren't thinking if they were even going to be at the Game Awards, and it was definitely a surprise. It was my biggest surprise of the Game Awards for sure, especially after the last mainline game just came out a couple months ago, and we're, getting a spin-off game now for the first time for this series. So my number 3 on this list is Bayonetta Origins Cereza and the Lost Demon. Now, it seems like public perception of this game online isn't like too great. I don't know, but like there's something about the art style and, oh my god, the music. If I could find the music to edit into this video, I will, because the music that played during this trailer just gave me chills. It almost like looks like an Okami-based version of Bayonetta. It's so weird. And I don't know if Platinum helped with Okami or Kamiya helped with Okami when he was I think he was still at Capcom for one point. I don't know the whole history of Platinum and Capcom and all those games and, Devil May Cry and all that, but like, it seems like an interesting step to take for Bayonetta. It's a prequel game, and apparently there's a little demo of it in Bayonetta 3. I never unlocked it, but it looks gorgeous. The music was super good. I don't know how long of a game it'll be. I mean, it seems like it might be a little steep of a price at $60 full price. I'm hoping it's a very flushed out game because of that. I'm really hoping it's not just like a 5-hour game. I doubt it will be, but like, I hope they really go all out with this if it's going to be that much in terms of price at launch. But like, it looks beautiful. It looks really good in motion. And I don't know how, it might be simpler. I imagine the combat might be a little simpler than in Bayonetta 3. So I can imagine that's the weird part, is that if you're really into the hardcore Bayonetta action, like all the combos and everything, this may not be for you, especially if you're a Bayonetta fan. So that's the interesting thing. I'm trying to see if they're appealing to new fans with this game. I don't know. It could be a smart move. I don't know, but it's curious to see Bayonetta go in a new direction with really its first spin-off game. I think it is, yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to see where Platinum and Kamiya take this game. It looks really, really interesting, and it's coming out in March, so it's honestly not that far off. Literally, like I said, my biggest surprise of the Game Awards for me in terms of announcements this year. So I'm looking forward to it, and that is why it is number 3 here. All right, we're in the top 2. See, these top 5s are so much easier. They're so much faster, right? But number 2, definitely, this is a game. This is a game franchise, I should say, that I played one of the games years ago, and I'm talking, I was probably like 3 years old. I played on the PC. Might have been a bootleg game. I don't know. I mentioned that on the channel before. But like, I've been wanting, I love the characters because I've experienced the characters in other crossover games, and I've been wanting to like get into the main games. And although this game franchise, or this game genre is pretty iffy for me sometimes, this seems like the best opportunity to jump into, because man, fighting games for me they could be tough sometimes. But number 2 on this list is Street Fighter 6. Now, this game just oozes personality, especially this trailer that was debuted during the Game Awards. I think I'm gonna be a DJ main after this trailer. I think just looking at DJ's moves, he's so flashy. I love the style of this game. I mentioned on one of my previous lists I did. Like, I love when games have this, like, you know, like very like punk graffiti style, like Jet Set Radio, No More Heroes, and I'm getting that vibe from this game, which is a really cool vibe. Not only that though, like apparently there's like a new control scheme for this game. One thing that's big in terms of like preventing me from really playing more fighting games are the controls and the different command inputs. That's why like I love playing Smash Brothers, because it's very intuitive, very simple. Multiverses did the same thing. And this game, like, it will have those traditional combos for sure, but there's also, they've announced there's gonna be a more accessible control scheme, which I am definitely gonna check out. I would love to like learn the more advanced, you know, command inputs. I could do the ones for like Ryu and Ken and Terry in Smash. So, you know, I'm sure if I dedicated enough time to it, that's kind of where I need to figure this out. But I've been meaning to dive into like an actual main game with Street Fighter for so long now, for years. I used to play Street Fighter 2 a little bit with my brother, but I sucked. I would just pick Dalsum and spam his moves over and over again, like Yoga Fire nonstop, you know, but I'm super curious to see. I feel like this is a great time to jump into Street Fighter. It seems like there's a lot going right with this game from what I've seen online. Like, even hardcore Street Fighter fans are very, very excited for this game, especially after 5 seemed to disappoint quite a few. So just look at how good this game looks. Look at DJ's moves here. Look, oh my God, look at this. It just looks so beautiful in motion, and it looks like a hell of a lot of fun. The new characters seem great so far, and they're bringing back a lot of older fan favorites, it looks like, so with new designs, which is super cool. This game just looks super good. Look at this. Look at this. This right here is why I want to main DJ in this game as of now. But who knows? That could change. A lot of these characters look really, really cool. So I don't know. This game just looks flashy. It looks fun, and it seems like the most accessible Street Fighter's ever been. And as a result, like, I've played the Project Crossroads games. I've played Marvel vs. Capcom. It's like, I want to get into these games, and this seems like the perfect time to jump in. It's coming out in June. Perfect summer game. I am ready for that. That's why it's number 2, because I'm very, very excited to see how this game shapes up, and I think it's time for me to jump into Street Fighter with this. But that leaves us with number 1. What could number 1 be? Now, some eagle-eyed viewers out there may notice the hat that I'm wearing, and that may give you a little bit of a clue. Just a little bit if you've kept up. This is also not as well known of a game, but it was debuted during an indie showcase, I believe. I don't even know if that was this past year. That might have been 2021. I don't remember, but this game's gotten pushed out. We haven't heard a ton about it yet, but it is currently slated for summer of 2023. And yes, it was my number 1 anticipated from last year. My number 1 again, 2 years in a row, is Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, my most anticipated game of 2023. Like I said, it's slated for summer. Really hoping it comes out, especially because, I was hyped enough for this game, but this year I finally played Jet Set Radio Future, and I really enjoyed my time with that. And it was a massive step up from the original Jet Set Radio. So now here comes this game, 20 years later, that takes all that they've learned from, Team Reptile making this, learned from Jet Set Radio Future. And they've also worked on games like, the Lethal League games, Lethal League Blaze. And you could tell there was a character in Lethal League Blaze that was literally a Jet Set Radio character. And you could tell they were like, just the style alone, they were like, they love Jet Set Radio. And this is them actually being like, you know what, it's time, let's make a Jet Set Radio spiritual successor. And just look at this gameplay. This looks like Jet Set Radio Future taken to the next level. There's the sliding mechanics, they brought back the parkour, it looks as fast as ever. It looks like it's another open connected world, kind of like Jet Set Radio Future, but probably to the next level. I don't know if I probably still won't get this on Switch. This feels like an Xbox game to me, or even, if I get it on Steam, there's probably gonna be a ton of mod support to kind of mod in. This is literally ripped right from Jet Set Radio. There was a level that is exactly like this in Jet Set Radio, which is ridiculous. The graffiti looks even easier than ever in this game. You just saw there with pulling off those moves there. It just, man, this game just looks so good. And apparently there was a track from Hideki Naganuma. Hideki Naganuma being my favorite Japanese composer. That was released like 9 months ago. I just completely missed it, and I listened to it, and oh my god, it's so good. I'm so looking forward to the music here too. If you don't know, Hideki Naganuma worked on the other Jet Set Radio games, and he did the Sonic Rush OST, and he's done remixes since then for like Sonic Generations on 3DS, for example, because they had the Water Palace stage in there. And he's done other games. He did that track for Lethal League Blaze, like I mentioned, and he's done a few other very small games that I haven't actually heard of since then, but like he's already got a couple tracks in this game. I'm sure he's going to do a lot of the music, and I'm very much looking forward to it. This is like the Jet Set Radio. This is Jet Set Radio taken to the modern era. And if Sega is not going to do it, I am super glad that Reptile Games is going to be doing it. And they seem like they're doing a hell of a job. So this is, I'm looking forward to it now. This is also going to be another really good summer game. There's so many games coming out in May and June that I'm really looking forward to. And beginning of the year. We'll see for later in the year. I'm sure there's going to be more surprises, but you know, anticipated games lists are always subject to change, but that is going to do it for my top 5 anticipated games for 2023. Just to recap, number 5 is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Number 4 is The Plucky Squire. Number 3 is Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. Number 2 is, what was number 3? I just blanked. Street Fighter 6, how can I forget? And number 1 is Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Once again, taking the number 1 spot for my most anticipated games. Let me know what your most anticipated games are next year. Like I said, I know, roast me in the comments for not putting Tears of the Kingdom in here. I'm sorry, I'm just not excited for the game. There's nothing for me to get very excited for, but let me know in the comments below what you think and if you agree with me or not. And hey, here's to a great 2023. I'm sure it's going to be a great year with several games and more surprises left for us to find out. But until then, I will catch you all on the next video or live stream. Bye for now. Stay hype.